Hey guys, Shakarez or Killbot here with more analysis. Today I'm doing a breakdown of the Edward Gaming versus Samsung White game. A more in-depth breakdown will be on Paravine. For the video I'm going to focus mostly on what went wrong early for EDG and the Teamfight. So the inaugural match was nothing short of amazing. The match had some sloppy mistakes from both teams, but overall it was very exciting to watch and we got to see two of the best teams in the tournament. One of the most surprising picks was the return of Rumble. We had already seen him in the Korean regionals by SKT T1K. Other than that, he hasn't really shown up. Let's start with drafting, and I don't want to go too in depth into this, I left that for the article. Basically, the biggest mistake here is letting Samsung White have Tristana, especially considering EDG could have picked it up with their second rotation. By giving Tristana to White, you're giving them a composition with double resets, which is extremely scary, provided they can get the first kill in a teamfight. White's composition is all about AoE teamfighting. With a good equalizer and tidal wave, setting up kills is easy, and then the resets galore begins. EDG's composition relies on snowballing bot lane and getting off good shockwaves with the help of Jarvan's Cataclysm. On to early game and the two mismatches that we saw this game. While Dandy started at his top buff and got a small leash from Pawn and Looper, Clearlove started at his bottom buff where he got a leash from his bot lane. Now this might not seem very important, but it completely changes the dynamic of bot lane. Basically a Lucian Fresh bot lane goes into lane with the objective of winning the lane phase and shutting down their opponent. They can't possibly do that when they get to lane and get immediately pushed by Tristan and Ami that grab level 2 before them. To make things worse, White had Zillion, meaning the whole team is getting extra experience and their bot lane is going to eventually get to 6 way before Edward Gaming. The other big mismatch was in the jungle. Dandy completely out-pressured Clearlove in the jungle, and Jarvan is a type of jungler that needs to be played aggressive early, as he falls off very hard if he's behind. He's a good early game ganker that snowballs very well with kill participation. If this is denied, Kha'Zix is going to be the superior pick. He clears faster, he's more mobile, and he does more damage than Jarvan. Not to mention that he has a potential Zillion ultimate that can be used on him. So basically, in the early game, Clearlove devoted much of his time going from lane to lane, clearing wards and attempting to gank. However, Samsung's vision control was top notch and he could never do anything. Meanwhile, Dandy focused on farming and tried to gank less. The significant difference here is that his early ganks were always successful. Even after Jarvan picked up 2 assists, he was still very behind Kha'Zix. And fast forward to 21 minutes, and this is how the builds stand. So, as you can see, Kha'Zix is very ahead. And to make things worse, Jarvan went for Sightstone, which sets Clearlove even farther behind, as he's not a good Sightstone jungler. Before I move into the teamfights, I just want to overview what happened early. Dandy focused heavily on his top lane and gave Rumble a kill and an assist. The purpose here is to have him snowball. White has a mid laner that doesn't have that much damage, so it's important to balance it out with someone like Rumble that can make up for it. 22 minutes in, Edward Gaming know they have to do something immediately. Rumble is already a threat, and soon enough Tristana will be too big for EDG to handle. I'm going to let the fight play out and then explain how it unfolded.
Doesn't have armor yet. EDG wouldn't need a catch, but they just kind of got caught.
Yeah, throwing in everything here. Whoa, Pawn's right in the middle of it. Tries to slow him down to keep it. The fight begins, and EDG is trying to get out of this one. Coral gets jumped on, but the slow is wearing off, and he's going to try to flash over the wall with the rest of his team, but they will continue with the calling.
Koro in all sorts of trouble. The shockwave pulls into Looper. Looper taken low, but so is EDG. They're backing out. Now they're going to run back on towards him. MCZF's going to get picked off. It's a double for him. Could it be a triple? Yes, it will. And that is a big turnaround. Samsung White that can turn a burn for Baron.
So Edward Gaming were trying to get a pick, but White finds them out with a ward. Name aggro's Baron, probably trying to hit the ward, and the fight unfolds. EDG need to get out of there immediately, but Looper on Rumble places a perfect ultimate that forces EDG to move all south. Right after the equalizer, Mana throws out his tidal wave that hits 3 targets, and EDG is running scared. Pawn's time bomb hits 3 people who get chunked even before they back out. Meanwhile, Koro was completely split and is trying to get back to his team. Kha'Zix and company can safely chase because there's no risk of being turned on. From here, EDG can't just get out, so they have to re-engage. Maokai is too low and Jarvan gets exhausted immediately. They both get killed, granting Tristana the reset to then kill Thresh. From there, White turns to Baron as EDG tries to contest with Lucian and Orianna. Imp just goes back in with Chrono Shift placed on him, gets a double kill to ace EDG and get the unofficial pentakill. This was basically the deciding team fight in the game. Even after some isolated picks from both sides, we're 34 minutes in and EDG pulls off an amazing comeback. Let's watch the clip.
So quickly that I don't know if EDG can make it in. They're going to go for it though.
Name's got a pretty good item build to start shredding in here. The culling goes out to start. Koro again in the front, but they were not able to stall it this time. And the fight continues just below Baron.
They got him down. They got him down. That is a big turnaround. But can they have the damage back on this one? Pawn is still alive. They need to get that mid laner down. Uses the ultimate on himself. He's going to pop back up in a second. Danny jumps away. Pawn is still alive. That is EDG picking up 3 kills. 2 members incredibly low. EDG, despite losing Baron, turn that fight around.
So White gets the Baron, Maokai is in the backline being annoying and chunking Rumble and Nami, zoning them from the rest of the team. The biggest misplay here is from Imp. He jumps in aggressively and immediately gets locked down by EDG with the EQ by Jarvan and the Thresh hook. Orianna does get assassinated by Kha'Zix, but the big focal point in this play is how Lucian is brought in. He's on the other side of the wall but gets brought in by Thresh's lantern. His damage is absolutely necessary to take Tristana down and he dispatches her quickly, being able to move on to Nami, Rumble and Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix tries to go on to Maokai after killing Orianna, but he's way too tanky and ends up not dying. Zillion was too far from Tristana when she got caught, so he couldn't get his ultimate off. Overall, it was mostly being outpicked in drafting that lost EDG the game. They really showed they could teamfight, and even when they were behind, they showed how coordinated they were. In the last major teamfight, 39 minutes in, they're just too behind to be able to win it, despite putting up a very strong performance considering the 10k gold deficit. Props also to Samsung White and especially Mata. If you guys didn't notice, Mata bought 19 pink wards by himself. At the end of the game, he only has a Mikhail's and a Frost Queen's Claim alongside his Ruby Sidestone, but he only takes 13k damage, which is the lowest in the whole game. This just shows that even though he's very squishy because he's investing into pink wards to vision control, which he did very well in the early and mid game, he doesn't take much damage because his positioning and his damage taken control is absolutely fantastic. Big props to him. That is all for my Edward Gaming vs Samsung White breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I'll see you guys in the Rift. Shakarez signing out.